decent steak on it.
West Cork Beard Company make beard oil and beard balm for a strong, healthy, great-looking beard. Handmade from all natural ingredients in Clonakilty, West Cork. Check out their YouTube channel for beard care tips and advice, or catch them online at westcorkbeardcompany.ie.
For Gooners everywhere, this is the ultimate football app for you. For match highlights, interviews, and the best Arsenal videos and podcasts. Download the free Gunners app now from the App Store and Google Play.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Welcome back to the Same Old Arsenal podcast on transfer deadline day. Wow, how exciting. Or unless, of course, you're Arsenal fans like us, it's Monday. A 0-0 draw with Manchester United at the weekend. Not a bad result, I don't think, but I'm sure we'll get into that later. West Cork Beard Company down below in the description. Please support them. Kindly sponsors the channel. Thank you, Colin, for everything you do for us. Link in the description below, and also your link down there to the Gunners app, which is a very, very good app. And if you haven't got it yet, I thoroughly advise that you get it. Let's go. We nearly done it the other week. We nearly got to 500 likes. So I'm going again. 500 likes tonight, please. If you're watching now, I should have 122 likes right away because there's 122 of you in here. If you're watching on catch up, bang, hit it now. Thank you very much indeed. Good evening to you all in the chat box. Hope you're all very well. I'm sure some of you have got the old excuse me. I've got the old transfer deadline day going, and of course, look at the theme tonight is the old yellow and black. Look at that. Look, looks good, doesn't it? Looks like
should have told me, Craig. I'd have got my yellow tie out.
Oh, put it on now if you want. No problem. Get it
You've got your yellow knickers on. You showed us your yellow knickers, so that's all right, though. Yeah?
There you go. There you go.
Don't knock it till you've tried it, Lee. The silk on the skin's nice. Joining us this evening, obviously, the crew. Dan, how are you, mate?
Yeah, very good. Cheers, boys. I'm liking the transfer deadline day theme, mate. It's very good. Looking very good, mate. I like a bit of yellow and black.
You'll like it even better. You'll like it even better in a minute. Look at this. Look.
Go on.
Oh. Breaking news. Look at that. Oh. Going up in the world.
Copyright.
Going up in the world, aren't we?
We are, mate.
Harry, how are you, sir?
Yeah, all good, mate. All good.
It's been a hell of a Monday for you, I'd say, is it?
Yeah, it's one of the two busiest days in the year. So, it's, you can take the busyness when it ends up in you signing Thomas Partey in the 11th hour, but today's been a little bit underwhelming, to be honest.
And judges, how are you, sir?
Oh, I'm good, thank you. I feel a little bit left out because is that a beard you're growing? So to join Harry and Dan, I feel a bit left out.
Just haven't had a shave. Just haven't had a shave.
Oh, just having a shave. Right now.
I've been working in hospitality since I've worked in hospitality since I was 15, and I've had to shave every day because I'm a bit of a hairy boy. And I can remember when I was young, actually, one of the PE lessons, one of my first PE lessons at school, I walked into the showers. I thought I was some kind of freak. I was covered in hair, and all the other fellas are as bald as the day they were born. But anyway, that's just a personal story. So now I've got a job where I don't have to have a shave every day. So I think, fuck it, I'm not going to... Oh, shit. There goes me 90 pence. So I said, I'm not going to have a shave if I don't have to. But it does get it gets a bit itchy after day 3 or 4, so it does come off.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's not long enough for a bit of oil anyway.
Nah, not like the other two.
Well, you look like you've had a shave.
I've had a shave. Well, not on the old boat race, but on the
on the
nut. On the old nut.
On the nut.
It's not the same. Not the same down to the old barbers, is it? Like, you know,
it's
can't
not.
Go to the barbers these days. You can see with the other two down below. You know what I mean? They're struggling. They're struggling.
If you want some hair, Judge, I can send some your way, mate. Don't worry.
Oh! Where are you going to take it from? Your bum?
I've got more there than you've got on your head, mate, if you want that. You walked into that, man.
Lee, let's start with you this evening, mate. A 0-0 draw against Manchester United at the weekend. I thought it was a good result. I think both teams could have won the game, could have nicked it there. I mean, when Laka hit the bar and Cavani somehow has put that one wide that he run onto, not the volley, but the one that he run onto there, it got mixed up in the middle, and I thought, how he's missed that. Well, anyone could have won the game, and it was good. I was quite impressed with us. I like the way I thought we defended very well. I think the substitution that he made at half time, even though obviously Twitter went into meltdown, that Martinelli was taken off. I didn't think Martinelli played too great. I thought he was getting roasted by Rashford every time he went down that wing. And I thought when Willian came on, he done a bit of a better job than Martinelli, to be honest with you.
Yeah, listen, I'm going to say this now. When the team was announced, I thought, oh no, without having Saka, it really hit me for 6. I was really disappointed, and I thought, oh well, we ain't going to win this game. Then when the actual game started and finished, you know, what I mean, before the game started, I'd bit your hand off for a point. But once the game started and finished, I was disappointed. But you know, like thinking on reflection, it was a fair result, fair point. I thought, to be honest, it was a good game. I really enjoyed it. It was intense, nerve-wracking. I thought it could have gone either way. 2 fantastic saves in the game. Leno in the first half was a wonder save, absolute wonder save from Fred. And then in the second half, you know, De Gea done it for Smith Rowe. Probably, if I'll be honest, they had the better chances, if I'll be honest. But Willian, I felt, had a good chance. But all in all, I think it was a fair result, a point. I think if we was really to believe in getting top 4 and our aspirations for top 4, I think we needed to win the game. But when you look at the team that they brought out, they had probably their strongest side, and we had 3 or 4 players that were out, you know. So I think from that point of view, we'd have to say that it was a good point. And what we need now to do is to cement our next 2 games. We need to beat Wolves, and we need to beat Villa. If we've got any aspirations of getting top 4, we need to win those 2 games. But I thought it was a good game. I'm going to be honest with you. If I was a Man United fan, I'd be a little bit more disappointed than us, because I felt that we were there for the taking, not through our performances like that, just from the team. And I don't think they really went for it. I thought that they was a little bit cautious.
Did he reset his router? No.
No, look at the way it's frozen on his
Can
face.
You hear me?
I can hear you, mate. Yeah, but you're good. Would you reset your router and come back in?
Can you hear me?
I can now.
Yeah, I think yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, can you hear me or not? Yeah, I don't know what happened there. It was very weird. Like, you know, someone must have just borrowed 10p a minute. How dare them? Like, you know, so anyway, yeah. So all in all, a good point and a fair point. And I'll tell you what, another plus was the defensive performance. I thought we defended well, and I felt that, you know, listen, Dan gives Holding terrible stick. I don't understand why, you know what I mean, but he does. And I thought we played pretty well that day.
Harry, let's come to you, mate. Like I said, a point apiece. The game, like Lee said, it was a very enjoyable game, and it was a game that I did enjoy. I don't normally enjoy Manchester United games because, you know, want to beat them so much. Manchester United are a team who I actually hate with a passion, and my hate will never dwindle for them. Just not the team themselves, just their fans. You know, they will tell us that they'll have us believe that they're the best team in the world. They always have been, and they always will be. So when they come to the Emirates, or whenever we play Manchester United, I want to win. I want to win any game, but I want to win that game so much more. A point apiece, but it could have been a lot different, Harry. With Laka crashing that one off the bar.
Yeah, it could have gone, like Judge said, it could have gone both ways. Arsenal technically, I guess, came the closest with Lacazette hitting the underside of the bar with that free kick. But, I think the two best chances in the game, I would say, fell to Edinson Cavani.
Yeah.
I've said it about Cavani in the past. His movement is unreal. And when you think about actually David Luiz and Rob Holding kept him quiet for the most part, you got to give him credit. I know you guys mentioned Holding just there, but I thought David Luiz the other day was brilliant.
He was great. Oh, he won man of the match.
Yeah, he was brilliant, fully deserved. And I got a lot of stick actually on my preview show when I said that I'd leave him in the team instead of bringing Gabriel in. And Mikel made the right decision in the end. I thought he was excellent. He was leading the team. I thought Arsenal, what I loved the most about this Arsenal performance was, although we didn't get all 3 points, it was the first time under Mikel Arteta, I think, barring the cup semi-final and final, where we played against one of the so-called big sides. We were defensively sound for the most part, but we also struck that right balance between being solid defensively, but also carrying a threat on the counter-attack, creating chances of our own like we did in the start of the second half in particular. So I think it was nice to see the balance. I think we've got a system now that works and we've got to stick with it. And I think competing with Manchester United, who are supposed to be title contenders, I think will do our confidence the world of good.
Absolutely. And of course, Dan, confidence breeds winning, mate. We go on to Wolves tomorrow. Wolves have hit an awful spat of form at the moment. A game, normally we would be quite nervous about going to Molineux. I would be anyway. Still kind of nervous, but I mean, when you see their current form, you hope that we'd get the 3 points. But the Manchester United game, Dan, I thought Nicolas Pepe played really well. And I thought Willian done a good job as well when he came on.
Yeah, I think you have to give players credit when they do play well. I think that overall we're not a fan of some of these players. I have to say I thought Granit Xhaka was superb as well. On Saturday night, I thought Xhaka played really well. I thought David Luiz, who I'm still not a fan of, I thought was superb and rightly so, got man of the match. Me and Lee Judges have had our comments about Rob Holding as our first team centre-half, but I can't knock him. I thought he was great again. I thought some of the clearances were superb. And I think that when you look at what some of these youngsters have brought to the side, that game, when I saw the team, I was really nervous about it because of the lacks of Pepe, and we knew Willian was probably going to be used. We didn't have Aubameyang, we didn't have Saka, we didn't have Tierney. Gabriel and Pablo Mari still aren't fit. Thomas Partey still is not fit 100% in my opinion. I thought he was quite poor in the second
sloppy.
Half.
He was very sloppy. Yeah.
And obviously Granit Xhaka, that's why I mentioned him, because he played well. And I think that sometimes when you look at what we're trying to do, I've never been convinced, but the last two games I have seen some form of style-ish. And I've always questioned what style we're playing. But I can see the high press that apparently has been there all season, which I have not seen. But I have against Southampton and Manchester United. I really saw that. And I think that came out quite clear to see. I think Lacazette is getting himself more involved in some of these youngsters. My only question mark, which I do have a worry over, is Mikel Arteta does not seem to rate Gabriel Martinelli. And the reason I say that is because I don't feel like he's wrapping him in cotton wool anymore, because he's coming out now saying that it was tactical to take him off when he did. I don't quite understand why that was. But a lot of people that I was talking to about it seemed to think that it worked and thought that Willian and Pepe played better than what Martinelli did. So, again, I just suppose it's not something I want to see, because I'm a massive fan of this lad. I really like Martinelli. But obviously Mikel does not. So I think there's a couple of question marks still, but for me it was a lot better. The last two games have been two of the most enjoyable to watch. Southampton was superb for me. Absolutely brilliant to watch. And I'm just a massive fan of Smith Rowe.
Yeah,
I just
he's
think
good, isn't he?
something about this kid that just looks to me like he could be something special. And I think it was Harry or Lee on the last week's one said that Jack Grealish at this age was nowhere near as good as what Smith Rowe is. So could Smith Rowe be the kind of Jack Wilshere that we want. That's all we hope for. I was really impressed, to be honest, really impressed, and I have been the last few games. I'm not getting carried away like some people. I still think top 4 is miles off, but I do think that at the moment we need to take these 3 games extremely seriously. If we want that, people are telling me top 4 is very much on. It ain't very much on if we don't win the next 3 games. It's 9 points, or it ain't going to be on. So we need to make sure we get 9 points in these 3 games, because they are winnable, Craig. Leeds,
absolutely.
Wolves and Villa, they're winnable games. So let's hope we can get that.
7 is fine. If we get 7 from the next 3 games, I'll be delighted.
I mean, like, it is. I mean, we all sat here, a couple of weeks ago, and I said that I thought top 4 was on, and everyone, went like this and all that malarkey. But with the results that have gone over the past couple of weeks, the results have bloody gone our way, boys. Beat Wolves tomorrow, and we go above Spurs. Lee on WhatsApp telling me that I was deluded because Spurs had 2 games in hand. Well, there you go. The 2 games in hand have gone. They've lost them both, and on Tuesday, tomorrow, if we beat Wolves, we could go above them, Lee. So, I mean, the results have well gone our way, haven't they?
Yeah, and what did I say to that? That's got to be backed up now by wins against us.
Oh, it has.
Villa and Leeds. And as Harry said, 7 points, he's happy with that. That ain't going to get you top 4. We've got to win games. We've got to get on 6-7 game winning streak, winning games. You know what I mean? Like, we've dropped points against Man United, even though it was a good point. What I'm saying now is we've got to get these results. And I think if we win our next 3 games, let's see where we are, because there are teams playing each other. I think Everton have got Man United coming up. I think that there's Spurs, Chelsea. So there is games where we could get those points back. And if we were to get those points, if we were to win our next 3 games and we get 9 points, I don't think it would take us too much up the table. But what it would do would get us closer to the other teams. And I think then we can assess it and see where we are from there, because we've still got to play some tough games coming up. I think Manchester City after that, and so on. And I think Tottenham coming up as well. So we've got some tough games, and don't forget, in between that we've got the Europa League, which I think we've got to prioritise. And I think that we've got Manchester City in between those 2 games. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do for that game. If he looks at it and thinks, well, if I play a full team, I still might not beat Manchester City, so I might just rest a few here. What worries me a little bit is, and I'm not knocking it here, we've seen Maitland-Niles go out today. I think Willock's going out also today. It's going to leave us a little bit thin on the squad, which we've said needs rotating. So again, I'm a little bit worried about that. You can see the money men probably, as Harry quite rightly said, wanted us out of the FA Cup because it don't make no money. I'm still never going to forgive Arteta for that. But I think it's, listen, it's a funny old season. I've got to say that. I'll tell you what, the bookies must be having a field day at the moment, mustn't they? Because when you look at it, a lot of people would have put Everton as their banker against Newcastle, and all of a sudden Newcastle go and win. Yeah.
You would have done Leicester to beat Leeds and all, wouldn't you?
Leicester and Everton,
yeah. So there's one every week, and I tell you what though, I don't know if the way Newcastle beat Everton, it was unbelievable. So there's no easy games in this Premier League. I watched them. I'm going to be honest with you. I thought, Spurs have beat Brighton, so I was watching a bit of telly, and then someone said, they're 1-0 down. I thought, I've got to jump on there. Let's have a little look.
I watched it. They're awful.
Yeah, but Brighton were good.
Yeah.
Spurs were awful, but Brighton were good. You know what I mean? Fourth from bottom of the league. And probably should have won by more. And I didn't see the Spurs capitulation coming, if I'll be honest. But then when a great point made by Graham Souness yesterday. I love Graham Souness. I think he's right. Good in everything that he says. Turned around and said, "Look, when Liverpool lost to Burnley, no doubt Klopp went in there in that dressing room and tore into them. There's no two ways about that." But then when he come out, he turned around and said, "Look, it's my fault. It's all down to me, Now, if I was a player watching that, I would turn around and go, look at him out there, taking a bullet for us. You know what I mean? Like, I ain't going to let him down again. He's gone out there, fronted it up, and put it all on on his own shoulders. And you think, right, I'm not letting him down again. And then you look at Mourinho, he comes out, players' fault, bad defending, bad this, bad that. And if you're a player, you're going to go, look at him out there. And I think that's what's happened with Spurs. I think that they've just, and it happens with him all the time. So, and long may it continue. Oh, I love it. You know what I mean? So
absolutely, it's great.
I'll be honest. One of my Spurs, mate. I've got to say this, right? And I don't mean this to be nasty. He wasn't being nasty when he said this. When my dad passed away, he phoned me up and said, "You know why your dad's passed away, didn't you?" So I said, "No, why is that?" He says, "Because he knows Spurs are going to win the league this year." Right? That's what he said to me. Like, you know what I mean? So, right, and he phones me up every week, going Spurs are this, Spurs are that. I haven't heard him for 2-3 weeks. He's disappeared.
Of course you haven't.
I'm going to have to phone the police up because I think he might be missing or something like that. You know what I mean? So, and that's what they're like. They get on your back and like, and it's great. Not one of them's come in the shop today. It's fantastic. It's fantastic.
All my friends who support Spurs have gone missing on Facebook. Can't find any of them.
It's the best. It's the best thing going, isn't it? When they lose, the old Spurs fans disappear.
It is great.
They're the best.
Their title challenge ain't
Title
challenge ain't looking too good, is it?
Nah, best magic act in the world. Then,
that's what happens when you win the league in November. You know the drop. Harry, if I sat here a couple of weeks ago and said to you that we'd get 17 points out of the next 21, you would have laughed at me, mate. You'd have said I was mental. 6 clean sheets from 7 and 17 points from the last 21. Now, we can all sit here and say, Mikel Arteta this, Mikel Arteta that, we're still 10th. I think that league table at the moment is so congested with, from kind of 6th to 10th. You could go even a bit more. It's given a bit of a false, I know people say that the league table never lies, but I think it's given a bit of a false indication to how good we've been in the last few weeks and how much Arteta really has turned this season around.
Yeah, the league table doesn't lie at the end of the season. It can lie during the season, can't it? And the thing is, you're absolutely right. I don't think a lot of people expected Arsenal to pick up the points that they have, to go on the run they have. And I'm really I'm pleased that it's gone the way it's gone. And I'm looking at their side, and as I was touched on earlier, I'm looking at the balance of it. I'm looking at the selections, and I'm agreeing with them more because I feel like maybe he stumbled on it. Maybe it just came out of sort of enforced changes, but it feels like he's come across what is his best team now. And that's really, really important. I think we were talking about what we need from the next 3 games. I think 7 points is enough because of the nature of this season. Judge mentioned it. You're talking about Chelsea Spurs meeting this week. You're talking about Man United Everton coming up. Man United are at home to Southampton the game after that, I think. And Man United have been terrible at home this season. And they're 2 very capable sides. So because everybody's dropping points, that's why I've got so much sort of positivity about the chances of making the top 4. And let's not forget as well, right, that if Arsenal finished 6th this season, it would be an improvement on last season. If Arsenal finished 6 points off of the top 4, still be an improvement on last season. So that's what we can ask for at the moment. You made a great point on the last one, Craig, where you said that Mikel Arteta's rebuild is beginning now, and you're absolutely right, because it looks as though we've got rid of all of that little clique now. The kind of players that you don't want hanging around a football club. They don't have a future here. We all knew that. They were all going to leave at the end of the season anyway. But just doing it now, I think, will help team spirit. I think it will help lift the place. And it makes it clear, doesn't it?
You like these players? You told me they were good players. What's going on now? You're upset they're going?
When did I say I like these players? Sorry, if you can cut out a clip. If you can cut out
a good left back.
Yeah, he's a better left back than no left back.
He's not that bad, Mustafi. Dan, you're harsh on him.
I said Sead Kolasinac is better than no left back. I said he's better than no left back, which I said time and time again. And Shkodran Mustafi.
It's a little version of Ty and Claude, isn't it?
Shkodran Mustafi had to go because his contract's coming to an end and he's not committed to the football club. So it had to be done. Doesn't mean he's as bad a player as some people have made out over the years. It's fact. It's fact. You don't achieve what Mustafi's achieved in the game.
He's
by
right,
being
Dan.
shit.
I've got to say, he's right. Mustafi, people are saying Mustafi's the worst signing we've ever made and all that business.
Exactly. And
I don't
also,
think he was the worst signing we ever made. I can remember when we went on, was it a 9-game unbeaten run when he was in the team and everyone was going, oh, this German lad, we had lost a game with him in the middle. And when he got left out, everyone was like, oh, no, we've left out Mustafi, we're going to lose.
And also, considering that these two here, that side and up there, called us dumber and dumber.
That's right.
And then they're going to call out on our opinions. Jesus Christ, give it a rest, man. Give it a rest. No, look, we've moved out.
Dumber and dumber. You haven't said nothing yet to go on. Nothing's changed. Hold on a minute.
Nothing's changed, except 17 points, 1 out of 21, and 76 clean sheets.
Hold on. I was just going to have a look at the league table.
That wasn't what you called us dumber and dumber for.
Yeah, that's not what you called us dumber and dumber for.
We're actually 10th at the moment.
Rotation thing.
We're going for top 4, Judge. We're going for top 4, Judge.
We're actually 10th at the moment.
We're 10th, but we're going for top 4.
Dumber and dumber, I think it's all right to be out of the FA Cup. That's all I'm saying.
I'm with you, Judge. I'm with you, Judge.
Thank you very much.
When did we say that?
All right. I'm not too disappointed that we're out of the FA Cup.
I'm not bothered by that.
I wasn't too disappointed.
Not by 3 points against Southampton's more important for me.
Yes, it is.
And
And when we've got a nice weekend off next weekend, and all those teams in the FA Cup are playing.
That is how dumb you are. It's in midweek. You should know that. It's dumber and dumber.
So why is Arsenal? Okay, let's have a look at Arsenal's fixtures then, Judge, because I'm dumber right now, right? Let's have a look at the fixtures.
FA Cup is on a week this week, Harry Signori.
So why have... Yeah, so Arsenal have got a whole week off. That's what I just said. So we play on Saturday February the 6th. Saturday, February the 6th, and Sunday, February the 14th. I just said Arsenal have a week off. A week with no games. That's 7 days, in case you didn't know. The Saturday to Sunday, that's 8 days. There you go. It's a week off, mate.
You can't. Anyway. I mean, I know in the WhatsApp group, you're saying that top 4 isn't on, but if you look at that league, table, and like you've just said, and Lee have just said, if we win our next 3 games, it is bloody on. It definitely is on.
The problem I've got is mathematically, we can still win the league. So do we sit there and say that?
No, Dan, come on.
But just hear me out. Just hear me out. No. Just hear me out first.
It's been top 4. We've always been talking about top 4. None of us have mentioned winning the league.
Just hear me out. So mathematically, we can still win the league. So we should be looking to win the league then, because mathematically we can still get top 4, and that should be the league's ambition. I'm just saying that although it's mathematically possible to win the league and to come top 4, I don't see it, because the amount of people that have got games in hand on us is crazy.
That's gone. That has gone, mate. I think Everton have got one. That's gone. All those games in hand are gone. Tottenham have got none on us now.
Tottenham have still got one.
Everton have got one.
So Tottenham.
What league table are you looking at, Craig?
Yeah, there's loads, mate. Leeds and Palace win their games in hand. We go down to 12th.
But again, it's hearsay, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying.
It's not about that, no, Dan. It's not about that. This is the point.
We've got a game in hand, Idris.
Why are we not? What I want to know about is, Harry, why are we sitting here arguing, and why are we not talking about 17 points won out of the last 21 and 6 clean sheets out of the last 7? We've all sat here and we've all said, I don't know about Mikel Arteta. I'm not too sure about Mikel Arteta. He has turned it round.
Yes,
he's turned it round. He's turned it round, Dan.
Craig, this is what I'm saying. Look, we're 17 points out of 21, right, in the whatever it is, yeah? And where's it got us up the table? Not a lot. That's what we've got to do again.
It's just being realistic. That's all it is. It's being realistic.
We've got to do that again. We've got to do that again to be standing any chance of getting in the top 4. That's what I'm saying. We've got to win our next 10 games. We've got to win 8 of them. And, it's a tough ask. It's definitely on. What annoys me is when you're watching other Sky Sports yesterday and things like that, they were saying, Chelsea still got a chance of winning the league, getting into the top 4. Chelsea now have changed their manager, still got a chance of getting in the top 4. I look at Chelsea.
Didn't mention us, though. No, we're only 2 points behind them.
Same points, and we're 2 points behind them. And also, they're going to Spurs next week. You know what I mean? So, in theory, we should be in a better position. But I'll tell you why they don't mention Arsenal. right, is because you can't trust Arsenal.
Exactly
because
that.
you don't know what you're going to get. And that is the thing. And
Hold on.
I want to see now is, hold on, Harry, you can have your say in 1 second, right? What I'm saying is, right, if Arsenal go and win against Wolves, go and beat Villa, go and beat Leeds, I'm going to say, do you know what? I'm trusting what I'm seeing here because they're doing it consistently. The one good thing going for Arsenal at the moment is they're not conceding goals. And that is a big, big thing. 6 games without conceding a goal. That's a platform to go on and win those games. Let's get them.
But why?
Arsenal. No. Okay. Every time we have the chance to go above Spurs, we mess it up. Every single time. You know what I mean? We've got a chance to do it on Tuesday night. In fact, if we win on Tuesday night and we win next week, I'm never ever calling you dumb and dumber again. There you go, there you go.
You're saying there. That, 1 second, Harry. You're saying there that you'd start enjoying it again if you won our next 3 games, but
I'd start believing.
But why can't you start believing now? We've just won 17 out of 21. That league table is so congested. We're 10th, right? But we're so close to being up to 5th, and we're so close to being up to 6th and 5th. That league table is so.
You're not listening to what I'm saying. I'm saying
I am listening to what you're saying. I am listening to what you're saying.
We need to do that run again.
You keep coming back saying we're 10th. Yes, we are 10th. But what I'm saying is it's so marginal that we're 10th.
100%. But if we lose to Wolves, we'd be 15th. That's what I'm saying, Craig. We've got to get these wins.
Yes, but I agree with you there. But what I'm saying is you're saying that you'd start to enjoy and trust it. But we've come so far from 6-7 weeks ago. Why? My question to you, I'm not even a guy. I'm just saying I want your thoughts. Why are you not trusting it now?
Because I've seen what's happened before Christmas. I've seen us lose and it's been a poor run. Yeah, and for whatever reason, Harry alluded it to earlier on, whether it was out of luck or whatever. Arteta's picked us players and everything like that, and it's going well. I still have my reservations about things when Martinelli keeps coming on and off, and also Hector Bellerin continues to play. You know what I mean? Like on a couple of occasions in a game against Man United, he nearly got caught out because of bad touch and whatever. So once I see what's going to go, certainly what I'm going to see in the transfer window, what I'm seeing in the transfer window is a lot of players and a lot of wages going out at this moment in time with players out. Now, there's rumours are that Saka's not going to be available tomorrow. Tierney's not going to be available tomorrow. So we need to bring in a couple of other players as well, which it doesn't look like we're going to do. So we're putting ourselves in a position of lightness, and that has to be said. And looks like we're going to go into this next 6 months without a left back to back up Tierney, who is, whatever way you look at it, not reliable week in, week out. So there's a few little doubts. But my motto is I want to see us win these next 3 games. As we've both alluded to, are winnable games. If we win those games, if you want to be in a top 4, no excuses what Harry's saying. I love Harry to death. 7 points he's happy with. If you want to get top 4, you've got to have 9.
No. If you're looking at the way the Premier League season's gone and the fixtures that are coming up, I'm saying that, in my opinion, I think 7 still stands us in good stead. Obviously, I want 9. Obviously, I want the maximum. Of course, I do. But then you can't. 1 minute you're saying
you'd be delighted for 7 points, Harry. I've got it on. I've got it here. I've recorded it. I'll be absolutely delighted with 7 points. Well,
you don't even have to turn your bloody mobile phone on, let alone record what I said. Within 30 seconds notice.
I'd be absolutely. I want it on record now. I will be absolutely delighted with 9 points.
Let me say something. You can't sit here and slag off Sky Sports for not including Arsenal in the top 4 race when you two are sitting here writing us off yourselves and your Arsenal supporters. That's number 1. That's number 1. Number 2, you're getting on to Hector Bellerin, who's been part of a defence that don't bloody concede goals. What's the problem with Hector Bellerin? There is no problem with Hector Bellerin.
Listen, no, but did you
Gabriel Martinelli, as much as we all love him, when he came off the pitch on Saturday, Arsenal became a far greater attacking force when he was off the pitch and Willian was on instead of him.
Yeah, he did. What about the header from Rashford?
What about the header from
That's
Rashford?
just about banging the
Yeah,
ball.
that's a good piece of defending. Yeah, it was.
No one mentions that, do they? But
Yeah,
I
but
do.
I'm not the one slagging off Martinelli or slagging off Arteta's decision. I'm simply saying Martinelli came off and Arsenal were a better attacking force. It's not to say he's a bad player. I don't like him.
Not having
On the
it.
day, it wasn't working. On the day with Martinelli, it wasn't working.
Listen, Mikel Arteta, I'm going to say this now. I thought, people would have criticised. Listen, fine margins, Harry, as you well know. If he wins that, if he'd have lost that game, a lot of people would have slagged him off for taking Martinelli off for Willian. I personally think it was the right thing to do, and he done well. So I'm saying that. Listen, you can call me and Dan whatever you want. I'll call you Dumber and Dumber. No problems, you know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is that we want Arsenal to get top four. There's no two ways about that. I'm desperate for it to be there. But I'm not convinced at this moment in time. It's a tough ask.
I hope we're wrong. I'm the same. I hope I'm dead wrong.
No, I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen. But I'm just trying to be. I'm just for what we've been seeing and the way we've been feeling this season. It's kind of filling me with optimism that we could actually do it. And I'm sorry, but I'm an Arsenal fan. I look at the league table and I think, do you know what? This is bloody on, because it is.
We could do it. 100% we could do it, because it's a crazy season. It's just about being realistic with this squad, which I think is paper thin. And the problem I've got at the moment is when I see the Willians coming in, it worries me. And we're getting rid again of some of the players now that were on the bench to bring on. And now are we going to bring it like more young kids on again? I don't know the question to that. I'm glad, however, that we've got rid of some of the outgoings, which I'm sure we'll come on to in a minute. But I think that being realistic about where we are currently, if Leeds and Palace do win that game, we go back down to 12th. Yes, but it is close. And although we could be down to 12th, we still could, if we win that for the next 3 games, go up to fight for European places. I just don't see personally that this squad is good enough to get into the top 4. I might be wrong. I hope I am. I hope I am.
We've also been to Anfield. We've been to Manchester City. We've been to Old Trafford. We've been to Everton. We've been to Leeds. We've been to Spurs. So that all comes into it as well. And
that's a good point. That's
a good point, but it don't matter if you do that and then you go and lose to Burnley and Wolves at home. That's not a problem. So we have to make sure that we win these games, Harry. So these next 3 games are massive for us, because at that time you'll see, I think Tottenham have got Chelsea, Man City got Liverpool. There's some big games coming up over these next 3 games. So 9 points, 7 points, whatever it be, we need to make sure that we're not taking 1 or 2 points away from these next 3 games. That's all I'm saying.
If you're talking about being realistic, which you're kind of like suggesting that we're being too optimistic, right? But then you're looking at a game away to a very good Aston Villa side, and you're saying,
you have only one.
You're saying that we have to get 3 points. If we beat Wolves and we beat Leeds and we drew at Aston Villa, would you not still think that we're on the right path?
Yeah, well, we're on the right path. Harry, we're on the right path now.
Definitely on the right path now. But I'm just saying, listen, I hope we go on this run. Absolutely. I'm just saying I don't see it happening. I don't feel like we're going into these games thinking that is definitely 100% 9 points. But I'm saying that if you want us to get top 4, like you're saying, we've got a chance to. We have to. We can't stop dropping more points. We've already lost 8 games, man. We can't lose like another 3 or 4.
Me and Harry totally agree with you in what you're saying.
That is why we're called Wise and Wiser.
What I'm saying is, I don't see why. Like me and Harry would get the flack, because we actually believe that we can do it. That's all I'm saying. Just before we go on, I want to bring these super chats in. This is from Pids1990. Thank you very much for your kind donation. She says she's starving to death here with no cheese. A reference to Mark, I believe.
Must be.
Mark's on a night off. Mark's on a night off.
Craig, just a quick one. Craig, just a quick one, mate.
Yes, mate.
Just in response to Dan's point about us losing 8 games already. Man United lost 8 games last season, finished 3rd. Do you know how many Chelsea lost in 4th? 12. 12. So it is still very much on.
This one comes in from Unique79, a long-time viewer. Thank you very much for your support, mate. Thanks for the kind donation. What do you think of Arsenal letting a few players go on a free? I think we missed out on a lot of money. Yeah, we were going to come to that, but we'll start on it. Judges, a lot of people have said, I see a lot of people on Twitter giving out that we didn't get any money for these players, but then they're the same players. These people are the same people that just want them out. So on that, I'm going to say for the Mustafi, the Klosniak, Ozil, them three, I'll take a hit on them. Get out.
Who cares? See you later.
Yeah, I think it's pretty obvious that they were the clique, the three of them that was going on. With this clique that's been spoken about in the dressing room and around the club. I'm not too disappointed that we're not getting money for them. Are you?
No, yeah. Well, in one way I am, one way another. What makes me laugh a little bit is when I hear people saying it's a fantastic window. It's It's cost us like millions and millions.
Yeah.
Millions of pounds.
But then I can see where they're coming from. We've just saved
I can see
when the window closes tonight. I think we've saved something like 690 grand a week on wages. It's massive.
I haven't saved nothing on it. I want to see us be successful. You know what I mean? Not in 10th in the league. But that's me. At the end of from my point of view, from my point of view. Yeah, we've got rid of them. But I'm not going to gloat in and turn around and say that's a fantastic transfer window. It would have been a fantastic transfer window if we'd have brought in about three new players that would help us challenge for the title next season. So it's as my great friend down there, Weiser, just said, that this is a good window to get rid of the players out, and that's what we've done for us to get things done in the summer, and we're going to really hit it big time next season. And I think that's what we're looking to do. And we've got a lot off the wage bill. I think within the next. Do you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if Mari's fit and available tomorrow. You know what I mean? Because we've earned the money. It'd be unbelievable if he's on the bench.
He is actually in contention to return.
No, it's fit and available. It's unbelievable. But there you go, because we're saving all this money, we can pay the fee. So, he'll probably be on the bench for the next 6 games. He won't come on. But anyway, that's another story. But listen, when I look at it as a transfer window, it's fantastic we've got all these players off. The reason we've got all these players off because we give them away. It would have been a fantastic window if we'd have actually got some money for them. That would have been a fantastic window, but we're off the book. And that's it,
Harry.
Hold on a minute. I hope Matthew paid for that comment because that is swindling. If not, Nigel, where are you? And show me a bit of respect, Matthew, please.
For the people who are listening on audio, a comment has just come in to say, is Lee Judge is demonstrating the after effects of the COVID-19 vaccine? He looks like he's ready to pop. I think that's actually quite tame. To be honest,
harsh,
very harsh. Harry, what would you say on that about not making money out of these players that have gone?
We were never going to.
Highly delighted. He would be highly delighted.
We were never going to make money on them because they're all of their contracts run out in the summer. So, who in their right mind was going to come to Arsenal and pay a transfer fee for those players when they could get them in a few months for free? Ultimately, those guys have gone and Arsenal have saved money in them going. So if Arsenal had kept them and paid their contracts out till the end, then Arsenal would have spent more money. So I know we didn't directly get money in. We have saved money by doing it.
I just want to stop you there because I want to bring this one in. But Ben brings up a good point there. If we're terminating all these contracts, why didn't we do it in the first week of October?
Great
point.
Because what you need to do to get the player to accept the terms that you as the club want, you need to back them up against the wall, right? So Shkodran Mustafi, for example, okay, he's got an opportunity now to sign for Schalke. Okay, Socrates wasn't doing anything. And you got to think, if you're Mustafi, and in particular, if you're Socrates and Ozil, who aren't even in the squad, then your stock as a footballer is falling every single day that you're not involved in football matches. So those players were worried and got to a point where they had to concede. They had to concede, didn't they? They had to concede in some way, and they've agreed to take less money than what the rest of their contracts were worth so that they can go now, so that they can find clubs, so that they can move to other countries and get their families settled in, whatever. If you don't do it, you do it at the end of the transfer window because that's when they're in a position where they'll just kind of back down a little bit. It's just business.
By the way, Tony Fane drinks at work. Just saying.
Do you know what though? Right? Do you know what though? As much as Lee's made that comment, I totally get where Tony's coming from in a way. And the reason I say that is because we need to get rid of those players because not just were they giving us load of
We have
wages.
sat here, Dan, for weeks and weeks
Ages.
and weeks saying, get this fellow out, get this fellow out, get that fellow out. Now they're gone. We're saving,
Right.
we're saving near on 700 grand a week, and everyone's going, "Oh well,
We should have got some money. We couldn't have got
do you know-
money because they suck for one, and two, nobody in their right mind would want to be giving them the wages that they were on. So I think that it's good business just clearing them out, and then that gives us the kind of free platform for Arteta and Edu to go and get the summer recruitment sorted because we've got all that wages off the bill. So that's brilliant stuff as far as I'm concerned. So I do see it as a fairly successful transfer window. And the reason I say that is because not just those players have gone, we've got a backup keeper who's better than Runnison, who, by the way, is injured. We've got Martin Odegaard who's come in, who's given some competition for Smith Rowe. So personally, I don't think it's actually a terrible transfer window. It's not by any means the best we've ever had, like some people are saying, but it's not a dreadful transfer window. I think these players needed to be shifted on months ago, years ago. I've never been a Mesut Ozil lover. Harry knows what I think about Kolasinac and Mustafi, and you all do as well. So for me, it's been okay. The only one thing I will say that I'm a little bit worried about is, as much as I don't rate them highly, I thought Maitland-Niles and Joe Willock could have been a little bit of two squad players, and they're now not going to be. So it'll be interesting to see who does come in on the bench for those. Is it going to be a Mola, a Balogun, or Aziz? If they are doing well in under 23s, maybe, and that could give them their chance to come on and impress in an Arsenal shirt. But listen, the transfer window I think left back cover was kind of rumoured over the next couple of hours, but I can't see anything happening there. I don't know if Harry's heard anything different, but I personally believe that we'll be doing most of our ins in the summer now, in my opinion.
Yeah, look, there's plenty of time to go. What we've got, what was it? It's over at 11, isn't it? So we've got
Jordan
3
Amavi was
hours.
the one. Jordan Amavi. Have you heard anything about that, Harry? The left back from Villa Marseille.
I was saying to Craig before we went on air, I don't expect there to be a deal tonight. No. You know, if we get like a Matty Ryan style thing where it just pops up out of the blue, great. But at the moment, I don't see anything happening. But also as well, we got to be cautious about our expectations for the summer, right? Because you got to remember how much revenue the club has lost because of everything that's going on in the world right now. So, you know, Arsenal are not the only club, of course, but when the summer comes, I find it hard to believe there's going to be this massive spending spree. You got to accept as well that we were paying Champions League wages when we were in the Europa League. So by saving a lot of wages like we have, Arsenal will backfill some of that by bringing in new players, but they won't go back up to the limit because then they'll be operating at a loss again. And then they haven't got their finances back in order. So it's pointless shipping out all those players if you're then going to go and overspend on others. So I think the summer window is very much dependent on what we achieve this season, i.e., can we make it in the Champions League? If we can and that extra finance is coming our way, then you can look forward to the window. If not, I still think, you know, I feel we'll probably see the Cronkies contribute, like help out like they did with the Partey deal to do some business, but it might not be this mega window everyone thinks we're going to have.
I think we might see some outgoings as well. I think we might see some more outgoings still. I'll be amazed if Lacazette's still wearing an Arsenal shirt because I don't think he deserves the 300k a week he's going to ask for contract. If he don't sign, he's going to have to go. And Bellerin, you know, there's a lot of interest in Bellerin apparently. So I think we could get some money still for outgoings, and then we will be able to spend that on some of the people in the chat talking about Bissouma, talking about Buendia. You know, I don't think it's all going to be the 150 millions. I think it'll be 20 million here and there. You know,
yeah, I think it's very important that Mikel Arteta goes into the Premier League market and finds us, a few gems, because there is a few gems floating about the names you've just mentioned, and especially Matty Ryan. I was delighted when we signed him because I think he's, I think he's a good goalkeeper, and the best thing about it, he's an Arsenal fan through and through. So. Good to have him here. Lee, how good is it to see Aubameyang smiling in training today after his little back to, I think he went back to Gabon, didn't he? His mum's not very well. Obviously delighted to hear that she's getting better and that he's come back and he's rejoined his teammates. And hopefully we'll see him back tomorrow.
Yeah, that'd be the interesting one. Does he start tomorrow, or will he be on the bench? I think probably be on the bench coming on, I would imagine, but... you never know with Mikel Arteta. I think it's nice to get, especially if the rumours are that obviously Tierney and Saka are not going to be available, so that would be a good thing to have. I think we missed him on Sunday because I felt that. Saturday. I felt in that game, if he'd have been in the side, someone just off the shoulder was more important against Man United than someone like Lacazette. I felt that we needed that ball over the top for someone to go in.
I've no doubt in my mind. No doubt in my mind. If Saka, Tierney, and Aubameyang were playing on Saturday, we'd have won. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I think we might have. But so it's just it would be nice to have him available. Like, hopefully he will be available, and because whether it be from the bench 20 minutes to go from the end. I would think probably after missing a week or so of training, I think like maybe that's where we go. So it's just nice to see him back in the squad, like, you know.
Absolutely, Harry. On Aubameyang, would you like?
I told you about Tony Fane drink. They're only on the shots at lunchtime.
Tony's definitely had drinks now, isn't he, Tony? Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, it's to see him in the chat room actually.
Yeah, it's great. It's great to see Aubameyang back in training. I know the club had some issues. Getting it sort of all sorted because they haven't directly said it, but it appears that he obviously went abroad, rightfully so. The reasons were genuine and the reasons were serious enough to warrant that. There's no doubt about that. But yeah, great to see him back in the squad. And I think he just adds that little bit of, I know he hasn't always been on top form this season, but he got that, he performed really well in the last game, didn't he, before he went off, and you thought, yeah, Aubameyang's back, and it was a little bit frustrating to lose him the way we did, but delighted to see him back in the side. I don't think he'll play from the start tomorrow. I'll be very surprised if he does because of the amount of training he's missed. Yeah. But yeah, let's see.
Dan, Aubameyang to start tomorrow. Do you reckon he'll start? And another player that I'm wondering who might start tomorrow, possibly start tomorrow, is of course Martin Odegaard. Might get a start tomorrow.
I'd like to see him. If Saka isn't 100%. Like they're saying, I believe he actually did train with Aubameyang today. I might have got that wrong. Don't quote me on it, but I believe both of them did train. But I'd like to see Odegaard on the right and see what he can do cutting in on that left-hand side, because we've seen it with Pepe that it doesn't really work for him. So let's see if that's what the style that Arteta would like. Then let's see what Odegaard can do from the right, because apparently he plays there also. So I'll be interested to see that. I'd like to see Martinelli again. I know it didn't work out for him, but I do think there's a player there. I just wonder if Martinelli is more of a central player than a winger. I like when he's up top. I think that's the long-term solution there as a striker, in my opinion, for a replacement of Aubameyang.
Massively agree.
Yeah, and I think that with Aubameyang, if he does come on, then I hope he continues his form where it left off at Newcastle, because there's such a good player there that we've got, you know, and he's proven it for the last few years. We clearly know now that was mentally something wasn't right and there was stuff going on personally. So let's hope he's in a better headspace now, because we need him, man. If he would have been scoring, you know, we've seen what could have happened last season without Aubameyang. We could have easily been in the bottom half, you know, and that's where we have been for the majority of this season when he hasn't been scoring. So now that we're back up there in the top half of the table, let's hope Aubameyang gets on firing us up into the top four, like you boys.
Yeah, let's hope so. Let's hope so. I mean, it does kind of make sense now, doesn't it? Why Aubameyang? You know, I'm not calling him out or anything, because it's a massive thing to have on your mind. Your mum being sick, you know, it does put it into context now about how or why he was playing so poorly, and perhaps he had that on his mind. Lee, Maitland-Niles has gone on loan to West Bromwich Albion, mate. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I've had a little think about that today. You know, two things can happen to that. You know. Maybe Mikel is looking to next season, get them some Premier League experience so they're ready for next season. Willock as well, because I think everybody's been saying the same about Willock. He needs to have a loan spell. I think Nelson, I think they would have liked to have got him out on loan as well, but that didn't seem to happen. So maybe we're looking at next season. If these two have a good 6 months at the clubs playing Premier football week in, week out, it could be ready, a little bit more ready next season, because the fact of the matter is they've not been quite ready this season. I think we can all agree that they needed a loan spell before this, because you have a look at Smith Rowe. He had the loan spell about this time last season when he went to Huddersfield, come back a stronger, better player. If we can get these two guys up and running, who knows? I've got a little feeling though in my head that maybe Maitland-Niles is going to be transferred to give us a little bit of money somewhere to put on someone else. That's my gut feeling on that. But who knows? And maybe even with Willock, maybe if he has a good loan spell, it could up his transfer value. So it's a 50-50 what's going to happen there. It'd be interesting to see what happens with those two guys, especially if we've got a couple of under coming up as well, which we're rumoured to have. So we will see, you know. And also, I've got to say this now, Balogun, I heard today, has not signed any agreements with anybody. So we've now got 6 months to convince him that Arsenal is the place to come and play.
I hope we can convince him.
Well, whether he's holding out for a free
yeah.
But then again, if he'd have signed the pre-contract, he would be going for free anyway. So there's still a possibility that we could still get him. So let's hope that we can. And I think the way we can get him is get him into the first team squad, and hopefully we can, because I think there is a player in him as well. Absolutely.
Harry, a good point has come in. Where is it here now? That good that I can't remember what I've done with it. It was basically saying, I mean, like, Maitland-Niles has gone out on loan. Do you not find it weird that he's gone out on loan now to West Brom, but we could have sold him for 20 million? I don't quite.
I wrote a piece about it today where I called him collateral damage of the tactical development of this team. So I think that at the beginning of the season, having just won the FA Cup and seeing Maitland-Niles playing as a kind of left wing back and doing that role really, really well, I felt like Mikel Arteta did genuinely feel that he could offer something to the side. I think as things have developed and Mikel Arteta has eventually changed the system, which I think we can all agree had to happen because we're playing a lot better now, I think Maitland-Niles was just collateral damage of that. And that's why, you know, it's easy to look back and say we should have taken the 15 million off. In hindsight, of course we should have. But I don't think that the way it's gone for Maitland-Niles was planned or was deliberate or anything like that. I don't know why he's gone to West Brom. I know that he wanted to go to Leicester.
Sorry now to interrupt. So that's the comment I was looking for. Someone put in there that they were a fan of the loan, but not of the destination.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why he has gone to West Brom. I know he wanted to go to Leicester and Arsenal didn't want that to happen, understandably so. And we know that Southampton were interested, and Southampton had real issues trying to negotiate with his agent, which suggests that actually Maitland-Niles probably didn't want to go there. I don't get that. I don't get why you would want to go to a side who, first of all, Maitland-Niles is deluded if he thinks that just because they've told him he can play in midfield, that means it's the right move. Because West Brom bypass their midfield. They don't play football. It goes from the back to the front. From the back to the front, straight route one. Sam Allardyce football we're talking about. He's not going to get on the ball and dictate play in that team. He's not even going to get on the ball because they hardly have it. So for me, this is one of those low moves that I think could actually go the other way.
But is that why Big Sam brought him in? Does he want to start playing that way?
I can't see Big Sam with, what's he got, 18 games left to try and save that team. I can't see him all of a sudden trying to play a new way. I don't get that move. I feel like Maitland-Niles, a lot of people have been talking about him playing regularly so he can go to the Euros. The only chance Ainsley Maitland-Niles has of getting on that plane is if he gets taken because of his versatility. Because he can play at right back, because he can play at centre mid, because he can play at left back. That's the only logical reason that Gareth Southgate would look at him and what he's done so far this season and say, yeah, you're on the plane as a back filler, because in tournament football, things can change very quickly. That's the only reason. But to make that move, I'm a little bit disappointed in the club as well that they've let that happen, and the fact that they have probably suggests to me that they don't really rate him anymore and he's not in the plans, because that move is not going to do his development any good. I can't see it, honestly.
It is a strange one, I have to say. Yeah. It is a strange one. I don't want to be too harsh on the kid, but I don't think even game time at West Brom would get him a seat in the Euro squad. I don't think so. But like you say, you're dead right on saying that, you know, it's the versatility that would get him on the plane. Dan, how do you feel about Willock and Ainsley Maitland-Niles going out on loan?
I think it's a loan move that Willock needs 100%. I think he needs to play football. So
Absolutely.
I think that he can prove himself to be a good player or not good enough for Arsenal. I think that's the reality, the harsh reality of it. With Maitland-Niles, I'm a little bit disappointed because I've always wanted to see him in the midfield. I don't particularly think our midfield I actually think it's the weakest area of our squad. So I would have liked to have seen him play there a few times. I think he's got the legs. I think he's got the athleticism, and I like his attributes. I actually think he's got the attributes to be a fullback. A lot of people disagree and think that he's a midfielder, but I don't think anybody can judge that because they haven't seen him play there enough. For me, getting him on the plane is the only way he's going to have any chance of doing that is by leaving Arsenal because he's clearly not in Arteta's plans. So I totally get why he wants to go. I can understand why Arsenal didn't want to send him to Leicester because they're rivals for European places, and I can also understand why he doesn't want to go to Southampton because they've told him that they want cover for fullback and he doesn't want to play at fullback. So West Brom was the only other option and he needs to play football and he fancies his chances to get into the midfield at West Brom. I think it's an okay move for him because although he might not see much of the ball and play pretty football, what he will do is it will toughen him up. And I think although Maitland-Niles is already strong and he's got quite bulkier, I think it will only do him good. It's toughened Smith Rowe up playing in a horrible side like Huddersfield, and West Brom ain't a pretty side to play against. So I think it might be an okay move for him. I agree with Harry that I don't think he's going to be playing pretty football and getting on the ball and doing one nice tick-attack of football, but I do believe that it will be an okay move for him because he'll be playing every week, and it's experience for the kid who is still only 22, 23. So he's not young, but he's not old. So I think it will be an okay one, and I'm okay with it. But I'm with Lee, though. I look at the paper thin squad already, and I think getting rid of those two, I don't see what we're doing there with our squad strength in depth because I think that we may have to kind of bring a couple of under 23s up again now. So we'll see what happens.
Well, that could be a good thing.
Seeing
what's happened, what's happened with the other one. So we'll just bring this one in. Obviously, this doesn't include Lee Judges. Thank you, Alexander, for your $2 donation. Great, mature, informative as always. Thanks, folks. That's about me, Harry, and Dan, obviously. Here we are. I said to get some questions in. This one's from Pids1990. A question for Lee Judges. Once fan can go again properly, will you sign my shirt for me, please? You want Lee Judges' autograph? Oh, my God.
No problems whatsoever, I'll even bring the pen.
This is a good point, Lee. I want to bring this one in. No bed knobs and broomsticks. No, that's not what I wanted. It does that. This one comes in from Omar, and he says that loan Eddie and replace him with Balogun.
That could have been done, but obviously it's not, is it? So, but yeah, I'd like that.
Oh, okay. This one comes in from Texas Gunner. Lee hoarding those Amazon packages in the back, though. What's in the boxes, Lee? Show the people.
He hasn't opened them for about 6 months of podcast.
I know, they've been there. I know.
They're for show. Like people buy books. I buy Amazon boxes. There you go,
I think Lee, I love you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Cheers, Mum.
Yeah. Scunny, I agree with you. Totally.
What's that? What has Scunny said?
Scunny said who would want Lee Judges' autograph?
Lee, can you come stand next to me at Burnley? Yeah, that'd be really nice to spend some with you at Burnley.
Tony says no chance of an autograph. Judges can't even write.
How many beers has Fane had? You know what I mean? How many beers has he had today? You know what I mean? Dear, oh dear.
This one comes in from Karen Lawrence. Do you think that Pepe needs a run of games before he can really be judged? Harry, we'll start with Lee on that one and we'll go round. I think he's doing really well the last few games.
He's played well in the last 2 games to set up a base for him to start playing well. No excuses now. His next 3 or 4 games, he's got to perform like he has. I still feel it's a little bit harsh because we judge him as a £72 million player, which he's not. He was never a £72 million player. But I think that his last 2 games have definitely given him a base to go forward. It's now in his hands. But I will say this, he worked fantastically well the other day.
He did. Harry, what about you? I think he can really cement himself a place if he carries on the way he's going.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of talent. I think we've always known that he's got the talent. We've seen glimpses of it since he's come to Arsenal. But we've seen 2 back-to-back performances now where he's really, really shown it. And he's just such a difficult player to defend against, isn't he? You know he's going to cut inside most of the time, but he's so tricky that it's not always easy to deal with it. I think he's very much a confidence player, and I think the fact that he is on a decent little run, I think is going to help him. I just hope he doesn't get taken out of the team and replaced for someone else, and he gets a sort of kick in the backside. If he does get taken out, has to be very clearly explained that it is a rotational thing. It's encouraging because he played well the other day. Willian played quite well when he came on. I know a lot of Arsenal fans have been getting onto him because he had that shot blocked, which is absolute nonsense, by the way. But the fact that those two are starting to look a little bit better obviously helps. And I know you guys are worried about the squad being a bit thinned out. If we've lost Willock, and Maitland-Niles, who are potentially midfielders, and we've brought Ødegaard in, then we've only really lost one in that area, and centre-backs, we were overloaded anyway. So it's not that much of a kind of blow. You got to think that two of the four so-called deadwood that have gone out weren't even registered to play for us this season as well. So I know I drifted off the Pepe thing.
Brilliant point.
No, you haven't, but it's good though. Old wiser and wiser have missed that. Dan, I'll come to you with this one, mate. What do you think? This one comes in from Lee. Thanks very much. A good follower of mine on Twitter, actually. Like having an old debate with Lee. What do you guys think Arteta's target was at the start of the season by the board regarding his league place? It's a good question.
Top four, I think.
Yeah,
I think
I
he
agree with
was top four. I know it was crazy because obviously become 8th, but I think that FA Cup run, I think the Thomas Partey signing and the Gabriel deal, for me, getting Ceballos and Willian, who in my opinion hasn't worked, I think they would say that they got them the players that Arteta wanted, and I think they expected to get, or at least compete for the top 4. But let's hope we can. Like you boys think, I hope that we can also go for the top 4 and just start winning games and keeping this run going. That's all I want now. And I think that if he can turn around at the end of the season and show where we're trying to go, and the fans are convinced that where we're going is right, then I think it's a start. I think at the moment, there's still a little bit hit and miss with the Mikel Arteta. People still not convinced. Some people want him out. Some people love him. And I think everybody needs to try and... It is, mate. We need to try and get on the same page with him. And I think that the only way he's going to do that is by winning games. So top 4 was the answer to the question, mate. I think top 4.
Lee, this one comes in from Clement. Do you remember from Arsenal Fans TV the man with the long hair like a pirate? Where is he? I think he's talking about he's talking about Bully. I think, yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, his mum was really ill. Last time I spoke to him was Crystal Palace away a couple of years ago now. And his mum was really ill. He was looking after his mum. So I don't really know what was going on there. He couldn't go to games because he was looking after his mum.
Oh,
so I don't know what's. But I haven't seen or heard of from Bully for a while. So
it's a shame. I liked him.
Good guy. Very.
Didn't give a shit what people thought of him, did he?
No.
That's what I loved about him so much.
I can tell you a fantastic story if we've got a couple of secs about it.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
All right. Well, when he was going to Spurs one day, they put a price on his head. Anybody that can beat up Bully, they give him, there was a money to beat him up and all that, So anyway, he'd asked Robbie to give him a lift down to the ground. So Robbie said, yeah, no worries, So thinking about it, Robbie goes, there's this bleeding price on his head and all that, and I'm taking him to the ground, a little bit worried, So in gets Bully in his Pirates gear and all that, and gets in the back. So there's loads of movement and everything like that. When he come out, he'd taken all his pirate gear off, and he was just like a normal person, you know what I mean?
Really?
No one could recognise him, so he never went in as the pirate, and he survived.
Do you getting onto that, right? How does Ty get away with that going to Spurs? Is he the same?
Yeah, he changes.
The
only game he ever changes is Spurs away, and he goes as a normal person. And when you see him in his normal gear, he looks completely different. So that's how he gets away with it,
What's Tony Fine? Tony Fine's definitely had too many drinks. Look at this guy here. What's going on
Tony.
here?
Tony. Welcome to the good side, mate. Welcome to positivity.
Judges, have a word. You know him well. Judges, what's going on here?
Do you know what? I might get you on next week. Judges might have a day off for rotation.
Oh, that'd be great. Obviously, Fane's been on the beer, and he's obviously not allowed to have too many, because obviously the pubs ain't open, so he's obviously having a few sneaky halves at work, and it's either that or he's on the wine gums because he can't handle his drink. There you go.
This is actually a good one. What do we think of Saliba?
He's sensible. He's definitely on the beer.
This one comes from Michael Grayson. Did you see Saliba's comments today? He might not make it at Arsenal. I think I read something about, didn't he? He was unhappy with his opportunity to play, Lee. It doesn't look like this guy is going to make it here. For whatever reason it is, there's something, I do not know what is going on with this boy. No, none of us can sit here and say, oh, it's this, it's that, it's this. It's a really strange one, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that once he gets 90 minutes under his belt, 90 minutes, gets 60, gets 6 months under his belt at a club, playing first team regular football, I think then we'll see what he's like. I think that he hasn't played for a few months. It's tough, he's 19 years of age. I think there ain't that many centre halves that make it at 19 years of age, unless you're right top notch. So, I don't know where Van Dijk was when he was 19, but he wasn't certainly playing for Liverpool then, so he went to Celtic and then on to that, then Southampton, then on to Liverpool. So I think, I don't think this needs to be rushed. It's one for the future. Get him the game time that he needs in France. He may be like he needs a loan in England after this before coming through. So I don't think he needs to be rushed. I think there's always this, because we signed him for a lot of money, it's an investment. And I think, let's take the time with him and get him the game time that he needs, and then we see where we go from there.
Harry, would you agree with Lee on that?
I think too much has been made of...
No.
I'm not saying I disagree with Lee. I actually think that Saliba probably isn't ready to play for Arsenal at the moment. And I think him going out on loan probably was the right thing. But I just want to kind of talk about the comments, because the comments he made, I think there's too much being made of them. He basically said that when he got signed for 30 million euros, he didn't expect to come to Arsenal and not even be part of the squad. That's all he said. And he said that impacted him. He felt a little bit down about it, about being overlooked. Who wants a player that doesn't want to play? What professional player wouldn't feel like that in his shoes? You get signed on a mega fee, you get sent back out on loan for the first season, fine, that's part of the agreement. And then when you do eventually join the club, he would have been buzzing when he came to Arsenal, thinking, I'm part of the first team squad, I've been signed for big money. And then all of a sudden, for whatever reason, and Mikel Arteta says that the development hasn't been there for whatever reason. We don't, like Craig said at the beginning, we don't really know what the ins and outs of it are. But those comments for me, they're normal. I expect a player to be disappointed when he's left out of the squad. And I expect him to want to prove a point to Arsenal now that they made a mistake. I think that's perfectly normal. And I'm not really reading into those comments as any sort of indicator about his future.
Mm. Dan, what about you, mate? I agree. I think I tend to agree with Lee. Really, there is no real rush with him, is there? Surely, I mean, he's still what is he? 20, 21?
I don't think he's 20.
No, he's even younger than that, isn't he? I think he's 18.
Yeah, I think he's 19, nearly 20. So, listen, he had a great season on loan. A great season at St Etienne on loan. And I thought it was strange to rush him back to play against MK Dons and make him miss the final of the French Cup if they're never going to use him. Something's happened there off the field, Craig, I think, and he's for whatever reason, he's not ready to play. 5 or 6 games now against Nice, 4 man of the matches. Sounds all right to me. If he keeps that form, then he might be all right. I haven't seen enough of the lad, to be honest with you. He's been highly rated, hasn't he? I'm with the lads. I think that at the moment, believe it or not, there's actually a lot of competition for who plays centre-back at the moment, because Holding and Luiz are playing well. Gabriel hasn't done much wrong. He's caught COVID and can't get back in the side. Pablo Marie is injured, and he's going to be back now, finding it hard to get back in. So yeah, I don't think it's a position that we are desperate for at the moment. So I'm okay with it. I think the comments that Harry's spot on, I think everybody makes a massive deal out of it, don't they? But he's basically said he's disappointed he didn't manage to get some game time, so he's gone out to see what he can do at Nice, and let's hope he does well.
Absolutely. I don't know. Can anyone back this up? This has come in here from Robert.
Ooh.
What do you think about the late Diego Costa rumours?
I heard Spurs. That's what I heard.
Is that true?
Spurs.
I heard that we were just hearing that a top 6 club apparently had offered him a chance to sign for them to the end of the season. I don't know.
Well, it's not us then, because as League rightly says, we're 10th.
If I was Wolves, I'd be all over that.
Yeah, I'd be all over it if I was Wolves. Yeah.
Do you know what, right? Diego Costa is one of them players who I always thought was a bastard, but I always wanted him to be our bastard. I loved him. I loved the way he roughed people up. I loved the way he got into people's heads before the game had even started. Would anyone agree? Would we like to see him here, even if it was just for 6 months?
Not now, because I think like 2-3 years ago, I watched him at Atletico the last few times. Looks like he was gone past his sell-by date, So that's my opinion. But
yeah, Danny from the Bergkamp Wonderland says, "I wouldn't let Diego put my bins out."
Craig, can you put that comment up, Craig, from Aussie Gooner?
He's a Mourinho player. That's true, right? You know what I mean?
Where is it? Here it is. Yeah. Who's just been Pablo Barro's injured Arsenal's wallet too severely and won't be back for the rest of the season. Not a conspiracy going around that Harry isn't playing anymore because we've got to pay up the 900 grand. I had a bit of a laugh at that on Twitter and caught me some whoppers. But I mean, Lee, I know this rumour is going around, but we've got to pay the 900 grand. It's not as if, we're not going to pay it because he's going to play again. Surely that's not the reason why he's not playing.
Well, I reckon it is. I honestly, listen. He was out with a minor calf strain. You know what I mean?
Tight strain, wasn't it? Tight. Yeah.
What happened was the physio come round and injected him, to make him miss games. You know what I mean? With a Cronke, I don't know, cinnamon, I don't know, thing that makes you have a dead leg. Yeah, So I don't know. It just seems funny that he'd played 9 games, right, and he was playing well, and all of a sudden on the 10th game when he's supposed to be, we have to play the first 900,000. He's injured. And now, as Harry quite rightly said, he's back in contention on the 1st of February. He can't make it up. You couldn't make it up.
Another good week of total therapy there, boys. An absolute pleasure to talk to you every Monday about what's going on about our club. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for everyone in the chat box. Up to 760 of you watched us live this evening. Absolutely amazing. Thank you very much indeed. Thank you everyone for your kind donations that you've put in. Thanks to just coming and being with us, because like I said, even if it's just one of you there watching, we'll carry on doing it. So thank you ever so much for your support. Hopefully we'll go on and get 3 points tomorrow. Lee, let's get a quick score reaction for you.
2-0 to the Gunners.
Like it. Harry?
1-0 Arsenal.
1-0 to the Arsenal. Dan?
2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal. I'm going to go 3-1 Arsenal. I'll go one more. 3-1 Arsenal.
I just want to say that means by next week, because we're playing Villa, right? Harry's going for a draw. All right, Harry, you're going for a draw for Villa. I know what you're doing, Harry.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Any podcast after this one?
Yeah, 9:00. Adrian Clark's joining me to look at the transfer window and Arsenal's recent revival. So yeah, come over to the Chronicles of Laguna and check it out.
Can you ask a question for me?
Go on.
Would you ask him if he'd be delighted to get 7 points from the next 3 games? That's all I want to know.
I'll ask him.
Ask him, and if he says yes, I will laugh my arse off. Once again, thanks very much for coming along. Massive support. Thanks for everyone who's listening to us on Spotify, iTunes, Amazon Music, people watching us on YouTube, Twitter. And of course, thanks for everyone who's listening to us on the catch up. If you haven't already, just before we go, if you'd like to hit that like button for me, for us, it really helps us get into that. What's the word? What's that section on the right hand side? It's left me now. Related content, any related Arsenal content will be in. We'll get in there, and more people will be able to see the podcast. So if you can like us, that will be Very much appreciated. This one, just before we go, someone's put in Patrick Van Aanholt, exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Have we heard anything?
We were linked with him, weren't we? But I can't see that happening.
Can't see anything happening now, can you?
Well, I don't know. You just don't know, do you?
Roy Hodgson was very adamant today that he wasn't going anywhere, and that there's been no offer.
Okay, I never heard that. Okay, well there you go. That's puts that in then. Okay, we'll see you all next Monday. Dan, we got a team talk coming on Friday.
Friday we'll be back at usual time, 7:00. It's nice that Harry's done his Mikel Arteta hairstyle just in time for Adrian Clark. Look at that! Look, I wondered why his hairstyle was getting like that. Look at that! He's copying our boss. He's getting just like the manager.
He's talking like the managers. His hair's like bloody Lego. This moves. Look, this moves.
I'm jealous of Harry's hair there.
You know what I mean?
I'm just jealous. Mine's
absolutely jealous. Don't know how to do it. Must be that Mediterranean diet.
That's what it is. Sun, olive oil. It's the one, mate.
That's it. And of course, if you haven't watched last week's great show that Dan done last week, the transfer one that he done with 23 guests, I think, Dan, was it?
Yeah, it was tough, man. But thanks everyone for coming on, and cheers to you, Craig, for letting me do that. It was great.
That's all right,
really
mate. You do as you want. I really enjoy your stuff you do. It's great. It's great to have some more content on the channel. And it was a bloody good show. Until we see you all next Monday, take care of yourselves and each other, and up the Arsenal.